Welcome to Ocean County Focus. I'm Donna Flynn, your host. Today we're talking about getting around Ocean County on Ocean Ride. My guests today are Ocean County Commissioner Gary Quinn. He serves as the Deputy Director of the board this year and is liaison to the Ocean County Transportation Department. Also joining us is Dave Fitzgerald, the Director of the Ocean County Transportation Department. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for being here. You certainly have one very large county, which poses a lot of different challenges to navigate it. And when we talk about Ocean Ride, we almost talk about it as second nature because we've worked with it for a long time. But Commissioner, can you tell our audience what exactly is Ocean Ride? What are the benefits that they can get from it?
Ocean Ride is the transportation system that we have set up here in the county, which of course, as you said, is run by Dave Fitzgerald here and his staff. What they do is provide a service to people that live in all 33 of our municipalities throughout the county to be able to get people that don't have the ability to be able to go to a store, go to an appointment, doctor's appointment, shopping, whatever they're going to do. We provide a service to be able to take and solve that problem for them and be able to get them around the county wherever they have to get. Our population in the county is aging a lot more than it was years ago. And instead of people being in their 60s and 70s, we have a lot of people in the county now living into the 80s and 90s, and they're not able to drive anymore. And they, a lot of them don't have family in the area. So Dave and his department fill a void that really serves a major purpose for people that don't have that ability. And it's been extremely successful. I mean, we provide to all 33 towns. We provide buses on a regular basis that run every day, and we also provide people to be able to call in and make appointments on a daily basis to be able to transport them wherever they have to go. So.
Dave, when we talk about the Ocean Ride is actually kind of almost broken up into certain segments, if you will. Can you explain what those segments are?
Sure. As the Commissioner touched on, our most popular service is what's called our Reserve Ride service, which is a door-to-door advanced reservation service. In order to access the system, you must be a senior. It's defined as 60 years of age or older, or have a permanent disability. You call in advance for your doctor's appointment, shopper's appointment, whatever the case may be. There's a minimal copay of $3 per trip. If you contrast that with a taxi cab ride, which could cost in excess $30, $40, $50 or more.
Sure.
And all of our vehicles are wheelchair lift equipped. So if the senior happens to be in a wheelchair, has a walker, a scooter, we can accommodate them, and there's no extra fee for those people with those mobility issues. As the Commissioner touched on, a lot of the transportation needs fall on our department. Many of our people who live in Ocean County resided up in North Jersey, where there was a New Jersey transit route on every single corner. That doesn't exist in Ocean County. There's a handful of New Jersey transit routes that basically traverse up and down Route 9. But that's about it. Most of the transportation needs fall on our department, and thank God we have it for our seniors.
How have you seen this department grow over the years?
Since I've been on the board, I think it's my sixth year I've been on the board, Dave has continued to take and add different routes, for people that, they basically react to wherever the need is. And certainly in different parts of the county right now, we're seeing a tremendous growth versus other parts of the county that we're not. When the requests come in, Dave and his staff take and look at the requests, make a determination on whether or not we can, number one, be able to service the request that's coming in.
Sure.
But based on the population growing, we know that moving forward we're going to continue to see this. The other thing that we're doing is we're trying to consistently build our fleet and have the fleet available to be able to handle all additional requests that we do get coming before us, as well as staffing, which is, all these things are certainly a lot more difficult to take and deal with now than they were, 5 or 6 years ago. But, I think moving forward, it's going to only continue to grow. I know Dave and I talk on a weekly basis and go over, plans. He's not reactive. He's always planning ahead so that we know in the coming years we're going to have to deal with certain issues. And the nice thing is the department's always planning ahead for those issues as we go forward. So.
Right. Dave, when going back to talking about like segments of it also, we talk about the seniors who are tapping into your system for transportation, but you also have, I believe it's the Toms River Connection or the County Connection. There's a couple of those routes also. Maybe you could explain that a little bit too.
In addition to the Reserve Ride service, we also have 11 fixed routes that traverse throughout the county. You touched on the Toms River Connection. That's a 7-day-a-week service during the spring and summer, 6 days a week during the fall and winter. Basically traverses up and down Route 37 corridor, connects Toms River, governmental services, the Ocean County Mall, with some of the people that reside on the barrier islands in Lavallette, Ortley Beach, and in Seaside Heights. By far and away our most popular fixed route, but it's one of 11 fixed routes that we have. We do have a number of other fixed routes that touch on senior communities in the county, and those are open to general public. Very simple fare structure, $2 for general public, $1 for seniors or people with disabilities. But that Toms River connection, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, the ridership is really increasing and bouncing back on that as well.
Right.
So
when you talk about the fixed routes, though, I mean, I grew up in a very urban area. So again, I am one of those people that walked up to a corner and got on a bus, and I went to school that way and worked that way and that sort of thing before moving full-time to Ocean County. But how do people get those? I mean, do you stand on a corner and say, "Oh, here he comes"?
They do have bus stops.
Okay.
And you basically have all the bus schedules published on our website, as well as on board each of the vehicles, and as well as on the bus stops. They actually have schedule holders that will show the time points. Also, we do have a mobile app that ties in with the fixed routes, so it has every fixed route available. And if you're waiting for the vehicle, you can bring up the app on your smartphone and actually physically see where that bus is located relevant to your stop and what the ETA would be for you to pick that up. So there are ways of accessing it.
And I know Commissioner Quinn hit on this, but how often do you review your fixed route, the fixed routes to determine, what, maybe we could shift this or maybe we could add that?
Just continuously. We're always listening to the calls from the public. Can you serve this community or that community? We'll issue surveys for various senior communities, see what type of need is there. We've actually gotten some calls and did surveys, and it may turn out that the need isn't there. So rather than go and alter one of our routes or put in a new fixed route, the demand has to be there.
Right.
And it's a balancing act. We're spreading the service amongst 640 square miles, 33 municipalities, and 2 barrier islands. So I won't maintain that we can do everything for everyone, but we try and spread the resources as equitably as possible throughout the county.
Commissioner, you also serve as liaison to the Veterans Services Bureau, and Ocean Ride also has a component for veterans. Why is that important to have?
We have the largest veterans population in the entire state of New Jersey, and a lot of the vets, as they age, there's more and more need for the vets to be able to get the services that they require. They can't always get them here in Ocean County, even though we have a facility up in Bricktown, and a new one being built up on Hooper Avenue. So a lot of these veterans will call in and reserve a ride, and we transport them. They have to go to North Jersey, wherever they have to go to.
That's got to be a huge benefit for them.
It's fantastic because without that, they just would not have the ability, or they'd be scrambling to try and find a way to be able to do it. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in because the veterans to us, veterans, our seniors are the most important part of this whole program. Like Dave said, we do have the fixed ride programs where we transport a lot of people back and forth that work from the barrier islands over onto the mainland. That's critical. There's no doubt about it. But our vets and our seniors are really our #1 priority to make sure that we can provide the service to them. And we've seen the veterans requirements go up consistently over the last couple of years. So.
Right. We're actually going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we'll talk a little bit more about this. We'll be right back here on Ocean County Focus.
When it comes to getting around Ocean County, Ocean Ride is ready to serve you. Hi, I'm Freeholder Gary Quinn. Ocean Ride is a service of the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders that provides a host of transportation alternatives to Ocean County residents. If you need to get to a doctor, if you want to take a trip to the shopping mall, or if you rely on public transportation to get to work, we have the solution for you. For more information on Ocean Ride services and bus schedules, call 732-736-8989 extension 4 or visit our website. Try Ocean Ride. We'll get you where you need to go.
Welcome back to Ocean County Focus. Joining me today is Ocean County Commissioner Gary Quinn. He serves as liaison to the Ocean County Department of Transportation, along with the Director of Transportation, Dave Fitzgerald. Gentlemen, when we went to break, we were talking about the Ocean Ride services that are provided to various communities throughout Ocean County, and we were talking specifically about veterans being able to use this service. And Commissioner, I wanted to ask you, is there a fare for this? do veterans pay, and how can veterans sign up for this particular service?
Yeah, the veterans do not pay a fee. Whatever service we provide to the veterans is done at no charge whatsoever from the county or from Ocean Ride. The program works very well because the way the veterans reserve their rides is they call our Veteran Services Office, which is located up on Hooper Avenue and Toms River, and they schedule everything directly through the Veteran Service Office, who in turn, excuse me, turns around and deals with Ocean Ride directly and makes sure that those reservations are made and that everybody's going to be able to take and continue to be at the for the most part, they're all medical appointments that they have to be at. Whether they're going to an appointment in Ocean County, West Orange, Malton, we'll transport them anywhere that they have to go to be able to make sure that they get there. So it's really a very well-run program. It's great that we don't have to look at any cost for the veterans, and the response is overwhelming. We do a tremendous amount of veteran transportation. So,
and also, when we talk about a lot of county programs, you could see that there's also an air of cooperation amongst county agencies. Why is that so important when you're running a transportation program that's covering over 620 square miles? I mean, you work with veterans. I'm sure that Dave works with our senior services offices. Why are those partnerships so key to the success of this program?
I think in this case it's critical because veteran services are directed at Phil, senior services Marie. These individuals, as well as Dave, they know the people that are out there. They know the people that have a requirement, that have a need, and you end up building personal relationships, being involved, in these different departments.
Sure.
And you couldn't ask for better cooperation between Dave and all the other departments he deals with in the county. So I think it really comes down to the fact that we've got such outstanding people running our departments that are going to do everything possible to make sure that the program works well and the services are provided to people that need them. So our goal is to make sure that we're out there, doing everything we can for the Ocean County residents, and hands down between Dave and the other department heads, they do a fabulous job.
And that's always good to hear, and I'm sure the residents appreciate all the work with all the partners that you have. Another topic that, of course, always goes hand in hand with any county service or program is actually funding for it. And I wanted to talk to you first about the county's appropriation for transportation, which apparently is the largest part of the funding for this particular program. Why is it so important to keep that up?
I mean, the funding's critical, in order to be able to keep all the programs going and to continue to be able to expand the program as we move forward. We've had some very good years back, actually prior to myself getting on the board, the money was flowing a lot better because we get a certain amount of our revenue from the casinos. And it's based on the amount of revenue the casinos are bringing in themselves in the course of a year. There was certainly a big drop-off down in Atlantic City there for a few years, and we saw the numbers going down, but the Board of Commissioners made sure that during that time we continued to see that the program was fully funded. The Board of Commissioners and the county certainly provides the most money for the program itself, but the casino revenue is certainly a big part of the whole program itself. And fortunately, over the last couple of years now that you have online betting and sports betting, the numbers are starting to go back up again. We very thankful to see that people are spending the money, and in a way it's maybe it's not the best way to get your money, but it's a way that we can take and get the money and be able to do what we have to do. So. We think that's going to continue to grow. I know there's certainly things going on down in Atlantic City to try and bring people back to casinos. But the more success the casinos have with the big gambling, sports betting, the casinos themselves, the better off the program is because our revenue sources go up when that gets better. So.
And Dave, when we talk about the funding for your program, how are the appropriations broken up?
Basically, by far and away, the county dollars are the largest funding source. Second largest funding source is the state casino revenue grant. We do participate. We get a small grant from Veterans Military Affairs from the state, as well as some federal grants. But by far and away, the Board of Commissioners are our largest funding source. And we're fortunate here in Ocean County because we sit in with a lot of state groups and interact with the other counties. It's not the case in other counties. In many other counties, the sole funding source is casino revenue grant. So as that decreased in the mid-2010s, a lot of other counties actually had to cut services. That clearly wasn't the case in Ocean County. Our Board of Commissioners realized the importance of getting our seniors out to their medical appointments, getting them out, keeping them healthy, be able to age gracefully in their own homes. And So we're very fortunate in that regard. But we do see the casino revenue grant going up, and that's definitely good news.
Which is great for, yeah, which is great for all the residents of Ocean County that are relying on your service. When we talk about the number of people that are using the Ocean Ride service or your transportation services, and I hate to even bring up the word pandemic, but since the pandemic, have you seen any changes in your ridership?
We have. Obviously, we took a hit in the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we were doing over 300,000 trips per year.
Wow.
Which is a lot of service. Post-pandemic, or during the pandemic, a lot of our seniors, a lot of medical facilities were closed. A lot of our seniors were reticent about getting out of the house.
Sure.
It went down to, in less than 200,000. 2022, we had roughly 200,000 trips that we provided. This year, every month has gone up dramatically across the board on all our services. Our reserve ride, our fixed routes, and even our veterans, some of our standby trips, things of that nature. So it's up across the board. And it's projecting that we're going to do over 250,000 trips in 2023, and the growth is just continuing.
Right.
One of the things that we do track is new client registrants in our system, and those are up over 20%. Every month we get over 120, 150 new clients registering with the system. So thank God we've got the resources to meet some of that demand, but again, we can't do everything for everyone. It is first come, first serve, reservation only. So.
And for the Board of Commissioners, Commissioner, when you see the success of the program, it almost becomes a double-edged sword as to how do you think you can maintain the program?
I don't think there's any difficulty maintaining it moving forward. It is one of the top priorities of the board itself. So anytime there's a need or anything that Dave puts forth, we look at it, and I don't think there's really much that we ever deny. Because it is such an important program for the people that need it.
Sure.
We provide tremendous amount of programs for all the population in Ocean County. But like I said before, our seniors and our veterans, most of them are living on fixed income. They have a need for their doctor's appointments. They just have a need in a lot of ways for socialization, to be able to get out of their homes. Because a lot of seniors still are independent, living in their own homes. They don't want to give up their homes and move into other types of facilities. So we as a board just believe that this is an obligation we have, and we're going to continue to do everything we have to do to make sure that we're providing a service, not going backwards at all like other counties, and only going to continue to make it grow further in the future.
And I'm sure the residents were happy to hear that. We're actually going to take another quick break, and we're going to be right back here on Ocean County Focus.
Ocean County. Experience the good life. The Ocean County Board of Commissioners, working to make Ocean County a better place to call home, and a special place to visit.
And welcome back to Ocean County Focus. Commissioner, when we went to break, we had been talking about actually the effects of the pandemic. And while we are beyond that, if you will, I think everyone is still struggling with some of what the pandemic left behind. And I wanted to ask you about how is Ocean Ride, or how are you faring with being able to get workers? That seems to have been a problem. We often talk about it when it comes to our tourism businesses and stuff. And how is the county faring with actually getting people to come and work for Ocean Ride?
I think certainly the pandemic has had a major impact on Ocean Ride, as well as pretty much every thing we do in the county. But I know that over the last year or so, Dave has been doing everything he can to try and attract new staff. Our biggest problem generally is all these drivers, and with the changes, which I'll let Dave touch on, that went through last year when it comes to the requirements to get a CDL license. It's made it even more difficult for us to be able to get these drivers that we need. One way or another, Dave always seems to be able to get the buses on the road. I don't know how he does it, and I don't really ask that question.
We'll be seeing Dave out there someday.
Yeah, but they don't miss a beat. They make sure that the driver's out there. But we really have to try and continue to bring more and more people on staff, because we are consistently trying to add more buses to the fleet. And by doing that, we're adding more services out there to the different communities that we serve, as well as the main lines that we run on a regular basis. But I think it's going to get better as time goes on. But the pandemic was very, very difficult. I mean, whether it be Ocean Ride with drivers, whether it be staff in the office, throughout the entire county, we've had a very difficult time getting people to come back to work. A lot of people don't, for whatever reason, don't want to come back to work.
Right.
A lot of people want to work from their couch and sit at home and work on their computer. But this is a hands-on business. This is something that we need people. We need people not only to be able to drive the vehicles and work in the office, but we need people that really can handle the people that they serve in the right way. Because,
absolutely.
We want to make sure that we have compassionate people that really care, because this could be your mom and dad that are getting transported, whether it be a senior getting to an appointment, whether it be a veteran, and overall we've been very, very lucky. We have a fantastic staff, and I know Dave and his department is going to continue to make sure that they keep pulling people in and continue to be able to provide the services he's providing. So.
And Dave, what are specific requirements that you look for when it comes to even a driver?
Well, they need their CDL Class B with a passenger endorsement as well as air brakes. It's been a challenge, as the Commissioner touched on. The federal government changed the CDL training requirements that actually an accredited firm has to now have an applicant take the test, which can be very expensive, in excess of $5,000 to do so. I know the county is actually looking to becoming an accredited agency and actually have trainers that will have people looking for their CDL actually join the county. We get them their CDL and they sign up to drive not only for our department, possibly roads, solid waste management, or another department. So that part's been a challenge for sure. As the Commissioner touched on, the biggest thing is that the driver should be compassionate and caring. I try to, as our new drivers go through training, I try to speak to each and every one of them as they're going through, that driving is a big portion of their job, but a bigger portion is actually being compassionate, help the seniors with their shopping bags, help them on board. And again, as the Commissioner said, act as if it was your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle. And we've been fortunate. I want to say a large majority of the drivers sort of fit that mold. I don't know if that just gets ingrained in them once they actually start up and running with us. We do get a lot of complimentary letters, emails, phone calls, and we pass them along to the Commissioner's office. And he actually acknowledges each and every one of them, and some of them really kind of touch the heartstrings. It really makes very gratifying when that happens.
Now, you had mentioned actually earlier, even before we started the show, we were chatting a little bit, you were talking about something about the staff doing ride-alongs. Tell me a little bit about that.
We've got a large administrative staff. We have a call center that actually fields the calls. We have a dispatch office. We have the supervisors. We've got the administrative people, including myself. At least once a year, we schedule staff ride-alongs where each of the individual staff members will actually go out, ride on a bus and meet the clients, touch base, ask them how they're enjoying the service, and what do they like about it, what do they dislike. Almost across the board is complimentary.
Oh, good.
I actually happened to ride up in Holiday City about 3-4 weeks ago, and some of the seniors are just, again, touching your heart. That the comment, quote unquote, is, I don't know what I would do without Ocean Ride, whether it be getting out to shopping, their hair appointment, their nails, or for an appointment, medical appointment. So it's kind of neat to have the clients, our staff, touch base with the clients and be that face and name rather than just a voice over the phone.
When you hear that, Commissioner, how does that make you feel?
You feel great about it because we at our level of government, we get people calling to complain and people have issues that we try to work out all the time for, but. I cannot recall any instances whatsoever where I've ever had anything negative come to me from Ocean Ride. Like Dave says, I get all the letters, I get all the cards from people around the county that use the service that are absolutely thrilled with the opportunities that they're given to be able to take and still get to where they have to go. So it is very heartwarming. It's great to see, and I think the program that Dave does, having our staff all do a ride along, is very important because you do get out there, you get to know the people firsthand. I think it goes a long way with the people that are on those buses to see that these staff members, you put a face with a name because a lot of people, they talk to them on the phone all the time, but you don't always get to know who you're talking to, and to me it's a great program, and I couldn't be more proud of the job that they do. So.
Well, that's always good to hear. Dave, this is the last segment of the show, and there's just a couple of other topics. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the mini grant program that's run through your office, as a matter of fact. Tell me, explain what this program does and who does it help?
Sure. So we actually, as part of our casino revenue grant budget, we do a little set aside, roughly $40,000 currently each year, to award transportation mini grants to nonprofit agencies or various municipalities that provide transportation to seniors and people with disabilities. So one of the big things that New Jersey Transit imposes or pushes the counties to do is to coordinate with other agencies. So by issuing these mini grants, and again, it's authorized by the Board of Commissioners, we'll actually issue in $2,000, $2,500 each, but it helps fill the gaps in service that we may not be able to provide, whether it be a nonprofit that does weekend service, or a group like VetWorks that may be able to pick up a veteran that's stranded up at one of the veterans clinics or things of that nature. Even Board of Social Services that has transportation contracts with private providers that may be able to fill a need for someone who's neither a senior or disabled, but to able to help that person in need. So it's unique, and we are the only county out of the 21 that do the transportation mini grant program.
And that's been going on for a very long time. I mean, it's been
basically have given out over $1 million since the mid 1980s.
And how can a nonprofit find out about that? How can they?
Basically, right now they're pretty much grandfathered in.
Okay.
So we've got about 20 agencies that are grandfathered in. As the casino revenue grant continues to increase, we're looking at making that a competitive process again and opening it up for new applicants. And we're actually, as the budget goes up, we're probably going to allocate additional dollars for that program because it is so successful.
Well, that's great to hear too. Commissioner, we have about a minute left in the segment, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity to give some closing remarks as to why, again, is this program important, and what can people find when they reach out to Ocean Ride?
Well, I think from what we've talked about today, most people can see that the program is very, very crucial to the residents of Ocean County. Our seniors, our veterans, our individuals that have to go to work and all wouldn't be able to do half of what they do without the services that Ocean Ride provides. I'm very thankful to the Board of Commissioners because they've always, any request I go to them for, I always get a positive response. I never have any problems with whatever the requests are. But bottom line is the service is fantastic, the program is fantastic, but at the Board of Commissioners we get a lot of accolades for all the things that are good in this county. But I tell people all the time, it's not us that does the job. It's Dave, it's his staff, it's the drivers, people in the office, the administration. Those are the individuals that really make this a success. And because of those people, we can provide these services and really, make it easier for people to be able to continue to live their lives, as they get older. And I think, like Dave said, people are very, very thankful for what we provide, and I'm very, very proud of the program, and I'm very blessed to be able to take and be the liaison to it because I oversee a lot of departments, and certainly this one is one of my greatest, and the success they have is fantastic. So
that must make you feel great.
It makes you feel great, and we can't do it without the Board of Commissioners' support.
And one last thing, Dave, how do people apply for Ocean Ride? How does somebody get a reserve a ride?
So it's very simpler. You could go to the Ocean County website. There's an Ocean Ride link on the Ocean County website, which is www.co.ocean.nj.us/transportation. Very comprehensive website we have. One of the hot links on that website is the Rider's Guide, which basically talks about every single service that we have, how you register, the minimal co-pays that we have, has the fixed route schedules. It's extremely comprehensive. And we keep that up to date with public notices and meeting notices and things of that nature. But and you don't have to register and then call for your trip. You could do it all in one shot.
Okay.
If you have a need for a trip, they will register you and book your trip first shot, and you're good to go.
And I want to thank you both for joining me today. And I want to thank you for joining us here on Ocean County Focus. Have a great day.